All right, so today we are going to be doing something a little bit different where we are really going to dig into how to understand fractions. So we're going to focus on 5 different concepts where I'm going to show you an example. It's going to have some things you can read, and then if you understand it, you're going to go on. I'm going to do 4 problems with you. You'll have a packet, and then you will do the rest of those problems on that page by yourself, and then go to the next concept. The 5 concepts that we're going to work on today are comparing unlike fractions, identifying prime and composite numbers, finding the greatest common factor, simplifying fractions, and adding and subtracting like fractions. So that will be today's lesson. Okay, so I'm going to flip you to where you can see just kind of a problem. You can read through the steps and just look at it. You don't have anything to do but read through this first sheet that you see. Okay, so comparing unlike fractions, I'm not going to read all this to you. This is where you need to pause the video and read through this. And I'm just going to move it up so you can see everything. So comparing like fractions, here's the problem, stop and think. And then there are the 4 steps. Okay, so once you're done reading that, you need to turn to your packet to the paper that looks like this right here. It says page 5 on the corner. This is what we are going to work together. Okay, so here we have 2/3 and we are comparing the fractions. We're trying to figure out which one is bigger or small, less than, greater than, or equal to. Okay, 2/3 and 3/4. We want to compare those. Well, I could, if I had a picture, I could absolutely, if I had 3 sections, but your candy bars have to be the same size, and they are, I could color in 2 of these, 2 out of the 3, color in 3 of these, 3 out of the 4, and see which one is colored in more, okay? But I also want, what if they don't give me pictures? Well, I'm going to find the factors of 3. So I'm just going to come over here to the side and do the factors. And I don't need a whole bunch of them. Okay. So I could do 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. I'm going to stop there. And I'm going to do the factors of 4. 4, 8, 12, 16. Are there any in common? The first one that's in common is the 12. So I'm going to make my common denominators 12. Okay? This one's going to go with this fraction. This one's going with this fraction. Made my arrow too small. All right. So what did I do to this 3 to turn it into the 12? Well, I times it by 4. What did I do to the bottom? I must do to the top. So 4 times 2 is 8. What did I do to the 4 to turn it into the 12? I times it by 3. What did I do to the bottom? I do to the top. 3 times 3 is 9. So because they have the same denominator, I can simply just look at the top numbers. Is 8 less than, greater than, or equal to 9? It is less than. So 2/3 is less than 3/4. Okay? Go to the next one. I'm going to go ahead and find the common factors, and then I'm going to color in, and I'm going to color in to prove it. So factors of 4, I've got 8, I've got 12, I've got 16, 20, 24, and I'm just listing a few. Then I have 9, 18. What comes next? What's 9 times 3 going to give me? 27. Then I'm going to get what? 34. Just kidding. 36. 36. So I don't have any in common so far. So I'm going to keep going here. 28. What comes next? 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, and then 36. So my common denominator is 36. So I'm going to make both of them a 36. And 4 times 9 is 36. So I could have just multiplied these two together and got my common denominator. What did I do to 4 to turn it into 36? I times it by 9. What I do to the bottom of the fraction, I must do to the top of its fraction. 9 times 3 is 27. I multiplied 9 times what to make it equal 36? I multiplied it by 4. What I do to the bottom, I must do to the top. So 7 times 4 is 28. So is 27. 27 is less than 28. So 3/4 is going to be less than 7/9. And let's color that in and double check. So color in 3 of the 4 and then 7 of the 9. That's 4, 5, 6, 7. And do you see how it's a little bit more? So that's why the alligator or the it's great. 7/9 is greater than the 3/4. 3/4 is less than. Let's do 2 more together. Okay. 4/5, I already have a common denominator. So 4 we know is greater than 3. So if I colored in 4 of these, and again, your pieces, your candy bars, your whole candy bar or pie or whatever must be the same size for this to work. That's why you have to have common denominators. This makes it a common denominator if they're the same. And then 3 of these, well, which one's greater? Okay. So they were, because the denominators were the same, I didn't need to do anything. What's a common denominator of 5 and 10? Well, I could go 5, 10, 15, 20, and here I could go 10, 20. 10 is a common denominator. So 10, 10. I didn't do anything to this 10 to turn it into 10, so I just keep the 4. What did I do to 5? I multiplied it by 2. So 2 times 2 is 4. And 4 and 4, they're both 4s. They both have a common denominator. They're equal. So if I colored in 2 of these 5ths and 4 of these 10ths, I would be eating the same amount. They are called equivalent fractions. So you can pause that at any point. Then what you're going to do on this sheet, you are going to complete these problems right here. And I want you to find the common multiples right here to find your common denominator. You're going to complete these 5 problems, and then you move on to the next section of the book. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is identify prime and composite numbers. So again, you can read through this. It's just a problem. You don't need to do anything on this. You're just reading through an example. So I'm going to pause it there if you need to see it. I'm going to move it up. So there's the examples of the factors. And here I would really do the factor rainbow. So I want you to do the factor rainbow on your numbers. Remember, so like 23, I would do what? 1 times 23. Does anything else equal? So whenever you had all these remainders, they did not equal it equally, okay? So it only had one rainbow. So what do we know about the number 23? It's going to be prime because it only has one rainbow, okay? Go to this right here in your packet. Again, I'm going to do these 4 with you, and then you're going to continue. What are the factors of 12? 12 is a blank number. The factors, well, I'm going to write prime or composite in here, but I've got to do the factors first. 1 times 12, 2 times 6, 3 times 4. And I know I'm done because there's nothing that goes in between. So this would have been a rainbow, this would be a rainbow, and this would be a rainbow. So because it makes several rainbows, this is a composite number. Okay, 25. Well, 1 times 25. 2, no. 3, no. 4, no. But how about 5 times 5? And I could just put, I could do 5 times 5 like that. So what do I know? It is composite. If it ends in a 5, it's going to be a composite number other than just 5. Okay. 17. 1 times 17. Does anything else, can I multiply anything else to equal 17 equally? Or can I divide anything by 17 equally? So no. So this is going to be prime. And then 27. 1 times 27. 3 times 9. So because I got more than one, it's composite. Okay, so you are going to finish out on your own these problems right here, and then show your work on this one. It is a word problem, but you can do that. Okay, so you're going to complete these out of your packet, and then you're ready to move on to the next section. Okay, we are looking at finding the greatest common factor. Greatest common factors, we just looked at finding the factors by using the factor rainbow. So you would use the factor rainbow and then find the number that they had in common that was the biggest. So again, here's a problem for you to read through to help you understand it. You don't need to do anything to this one. I'm just going to pause it right here to finish reading that. And then there are the steps that you would take to solve that problem out. And again, pause to finish reading this. When you're done reading this, go to your packet to page 9 at the bottom corner. Okay, so we're going to find the greatest common factor. So I have 16. What are the factor rainbows of 16? 1 times 16, 2 times 8. What else? 3 times anything? No? Okay, what about 4? 4 times 4? Okay, so I have, and really you could just write 1 4 in the middle because that means that you're multiplying it by itself. Okay, that's how you're normally going to see that. 12, 1 times 12, 2 times 6, 3 times 4. Okay, so the greatest number that these have in common are what? Okay, 1, so start on this end. 16, nope. 8, nope. 4, so our greatest common factor is 4. Okay, here are my factors of 8. 1 times 8, 2 times 4, and I can't do 3, so that it ends right there. And then 9, 1 times 9, and then 3 times 3. So what is the greatest number that these have in common? This is a tricky one because you want, okay, so 8, no. 4, no. 2, no. So the greatest common factor is 1. Okay. 7, 1 times 7. Okay. 21, because 7's prime. 1 times 21, and 3 times 7. So what's the greatest number these numbers have in common? 7. And I should have circled this like that. Okay. So you are going to do the factors and circle your greatest common factor in each pair of numbers. So here are your questions that you're going to complete. Page 9, you're going to complete these questions for me. Back up the video if you need help. Okay, when you're done with that, you're going to go to the next lesson. The next lesson is simplifying fractions. Again, here is a word problem that gives you each step and solves it for you. All you're doing is reading through this. Okay, so pause it right now so you can read through this. I'm going to move it up. So when you're done reading through that, you are going to go to page 11 in your packet. Page 11, simplifying fractions. The key to simplifying fractions, find the simplest form of each fraction using GCF. So you would divide it by the number that goes into both of them. So I've got to first find the factors of 10. 1 times 10, 2 times 5. Okay, those are my factors. Of 15, 1 times 15, and 3 times 5. So what's the greatest common factor? Well, 5 is. So I'm going to actually reduce this by dividing by 5. What I do to the bottom, I must do to the top. You have to pick one number to divide both of them by, because I can't do different things to the top and bottom of my fractions. So 10 divided by 5 is 2, and 15 divided by 5 is 3. So the new fraction is 2/3. They're equal. Ms. Webster wants to show you a way to check yourself. The way that you're going to check yourself is you are going to, after you get your answer, you're going to cross multiply those numbers and make sure you get the same number. 15 times 2 is 30, and 3 times 10 is 30. So because they're the same, you are correct, and you need to put a check mark by it, showing me that you checked it. Check mark saying you checked it, and you're going to do that for every problem. Factors of 3, 1 times 3, nothing else because it's prime. 12, 1 times 12, 2 times 6, 3 times 4. Make sure you're putting your commas in there. Greatest common factor is 3. So I'm going to divide my fraction, the top and the bottom, by the greatest common factor of 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 12 divided by 3 is 4. So I should get 1/4. Am I done? No. I need to check it. 12 times 1 is 12. 4 times 3 is 12. Because I got the same number when I cross multiplied, I can put a check mark. I am correct. Factors of 9. 1 times 9. 3 times 3. Factors of 10. 1 times 10. 2 times 5. That's it. So my greatest common factor, this is a little bit difficult, is 1. So if I can I divide that down? Well, if I divide it by 1, okay, I'm still going to get 9/10. So here's the thing. This fraction right here is already in simplest form. I want you to write SF there. It's already in simplest form. If you're dividing by 1, it's going to give you the same answer. So if your greatest common factor is 1, nothing else is, there's no greater factor, then it's already in simplest form and you put a check mark. 12. 1 times 12. 2 times 6. 3 times 4. 18. 1 times 18. 2 times 9. And what? 3 times 6? Yes? Okay. So my greatest common factor, 12, no, 6. Aha. Okay. So I'm going to divide each of them by 6. One number, what I do to the top, I must do to the bottom. 12 divided by 6 is 2. 18 divided by 6 is 3. So 2/3. Cross multiply. 18 times 2 is 36. 12 times 3 is 36. I put a check mark. You are going to complete these problems. Okay? When you are done, you are going to move on to adding and subtracting like fractions. Right here, adding and subtracting like fractions. Pause the video and read this. Moving it up. Pause the video and read this. And then you're moving on to your last page, page 13. Here is a really cool thing. When you are adding or subtracting fractions, if they have the same denominator, all you do is add or subtract. So same denominator, check it. They do. 7 minus 5 is 2. Keep the bottom. 2/12. Can I reduce that? Yes, because I can divide both of those. I can find the factors. I could divide both of those by 2. And you get 2 divided by 2 is 1. 12 divided by 2 is 6. So box 1/6. You do need to use the process you just used where you found the factors and found the greatest common factor to reduce your fractions. I'm looking for the answer that is in simplest form. Means you cannot bring it down any lower. Okay? So here we go. I'm going to keep the 8. Check it. They're both 8s. Keep it. 5 plus 3 is 8. 8 over 8? Guys, that really equal 8 over 8 is really equal to 1 over 1 or 1 whole. Okay? Check it. Both denominators. 5 minus 2 is 3. So I have 3/9. What can I divide 3 and 9 by? I could divide it by 3. So 3 divided by 3 is 1. 9 divided by 3 is 3. I can't go down any further. Nothing will divide into both of those. So 1/3 is in simplest form. Same denominator. Yes, check it. 4 plus 2 is 6. 7ths. 6/7. I can't divide anything into 6 and 7, okay, because that's a prime number. So that is my simplest form. You are going to complete these on your own, and then you're going to turn this entire thing, actually bring it to me to check it, and then you'll turn it into the bucket. Okay, and then you will go to your Quizlet.